toxic masculinity.
Oh, no, not her. Kamala Harris bashes the US White hosting Ireland's Prime Minister.
Yeah. So it's not quite as bad as it sounds, but it's not great.
I don't understand the word bashes.
Bashes means like she basically says America's crap.
No, yes.
But she's not saying that because the left is so crazy. She's saying that because she's like, we have all these white, right wing
Oh my
racist,
gosh.
white people. Kamala Harris, let's see here. Do we have the. Yeah. Kamala Harris hosts Prime Minister of Ireland for bilateral meeting, trashes America as a violent and racist country. This is true. This is what she said. Now, I'm not going to read his name because I can't pronounce whatever the hell this is.
What?
Yeah.
Ch-
Toy Sach? I don't know. It's Irish. Irish or
Interesting.
yeah. Anyway, it's a Gaelic name, it sounds like. So, Kamala Harris on Wednesday hosted the Prime Minister of Ireland for a bilateral meeting, and she kicked off the virtual conference by trashing America as a violent and racist country. Harris started the meeting off by bringing up the mass shooting in Atlanta that left a total of 8 people dead, including 6 Asian women. But this is actually a really good story because I hadn't actually read what his motivation was, but it talks about it in this story. Have you heard this?
About shooting
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but did you hear what he said his motivation was? Well, it had nothing to do with Asian women or being racist. He said he was a sex addict, and these different places indulged his addiction, and so he was trying to eliminate the people who were, I guess, leading him into this
Like
sinful lifestyle.
That was a massage salon, right?
Yeah, the massage parlors. I guess they were like brothels. They would. Yeah. So let's see here. We don't have all the facts yet, but sorry, I was quoting Kamala because she said this kind of something similar, but this is actually just the reporter, so I won't make a funny voice. Okay, we don't have all the facts yet, but Kamala Harris has already jumped to conclusions and determined that the shooter targeted the massage parlors in a hate crime against Asians. It's not quite what she said, but yeah, I mean, she kind of does that. Let's see here. Preliminary reports indicate that the shooter, 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long, was a sex addict. The suspect told police that he's a sex addict and he wanted to eliminate locations he saw as temptations for his sex addiction. But Harris trashed America as a violent and racist country to kick off her meeting with the Irish Prime Minister, whose name I will not read. Let's see here. Kamala Harris is the most unwanted, unpopular VP in history, but she acted like the whole... Acted like a whole... I don't know why. I can't read today. I don't know. Acted like a woke social justice warrior in a meeting with a foreign leader. How is this appropriate? At one point, the Prime Minister of Ireland accidentally referred to Kamala Harris as president, then quickly corrected himself and said, Madam Vice President. Well, let's go ahead and play this clip because I think this is actually kind of important.
I'm going to just say a few words about an incident that is occurring, a horrible incident in our country, and then we're going to begin our conversation. But before I begin, I do want to talk about what happened in Georgia, in Atlanta. It is tragic. Our country, the president and I and all of us, we grieve for the loss. Our prayers are extended to the families of those who have been killed. And it speaks to a larger issue, which is the issue of violence in our country and what we must do to never tolerate it and to always speak out against it. The investigation is ongoing. We don't yet know, we're not yet clear about the motive. But I do want to say to our Asian American community that we stand with you and understand how this has frightened and shocked and outraged all people, but knowing the increasing level of hate crime against our Asian American brothers and sisters, we also want to speak out in solidarity with them and acknowledge that none of us should ever be silent in the face of any form of hate. And with that, I am very excited to speak with the Taoiseach and to meet you this morning. Good morning. I am Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States.
America is the most horrible racist country in the world, and I hate everything about it, and I am so sorry that our country is so evil. But I'm so happy to meet you, Mr. President of Ireland. Well, not president, vice, whatever it is, prime minister. But, I mean, what a wretched, horrible woman.
If she thinks that America racist country, she might want to visit Russia.
Yeah, or lots of different countries. Ireland.
Well,
for
I
one.
can speak about Russia.
Mhm.
I can speak about other countries. Well, I don't understand how can you say that America is racist.
It's political theater. It's just like they're trying to create a sort of brand. They're trying to create an image because they need something to fight against. Democrats always need to make their constituents afraid and outraged, and they're trying to create this atmosphere of negativity that because they need to be the saviors, right? If they're there to save us, but there's nothing to save us from, then why do we need them? All right. Democrats are criminals. That's how I think of them. They want to be able to do whatever they want to do, and they want people to kind of ignore that they're committing crimes and they're doing this kind of shady stuff because, well, we need them because they're here to protect us and make America less racist and in a much better country. I mean, it is in their best interest to convince the rest of the, to convince the country and the rest of the world that America has all these horrible problems because they're the ones there to fix it. But it's absolute baloney. I mean, I until I read this article, I had no idea that the guy had actually admitted to his motivation already. So this idea that the investigation is ongoing, to me, this is the most outrageous part of this. That all these leftists, the leftist media, these leftist politicians, none of them are accepting the motivation that the shooter actually expressed himself. They're all saying, oh, well, because some of the people that were killed were Asian, it must be crime. I mean, they desperately want this to be a racist crime. They desperately want it to be a racist crime.
And second of all, I never seen a massage salon without Asians. Sorry.
Is that true? I've never. I don't go to that many massage places.
Usually it's Asians, Thailand.
I've only been to 2 massage places. Both of them were with you, but one of them was Asians, but the other one I don't think was. The second one wasn't. The one downtown here.
Yeah.
No. So we've
Yeah,
been to
they
one
were-
place without
they're-
Asians. They're like white
Yeah,
American
American.
girls.
Yeah, from here.
But
Well, I think most of the massage salons.
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And obviously these were places where this guy wasn't getting just massages though. These weren't really massage places. I don't understand. I mean, okay, yeah, I do understand. I understand why the left is doing it, but it's outrageous that they're doing it. It's ridiculous that they're doing it. If the guy says, I did this because, and I think 2 of the women that died were white, right? Were killed were white because
They can say it was by
it said
accident.
8
because
people were killed and 6 of them were Asian. So obviously this guy wasn't specifically targeting Asians. Why would he have killed 2 random other girls?
by accident. Tried to
They
kill
thought-
Asians.
They looked Asian-y. No, I take this guy at his word. I think that this probably is what happened. He probably did have this kind of like issue where he wanted to get out of this lifestyle and he didn't, he felt frustrated. And some people react in ways that are, mind-boggling. I mean, it's just like a crazy thing to do. But, obviously the guy had an issue. He didn't know where to go. He felt trapped. He felt some kind of problem and he killed people because of that. This is one of those terrible things that happen in the world. But to take that and then to try to manipulate it into something so that they can use it for political gain, to me, that is sick. That is twisted. They're actually, it's so funny because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all these, ridiculous puppet morons, they're always coming out going, we want unity. The country needs unity. We need unity. But they don't want unity. They want obedience. They want submission. And when they say stuff like this is the most divisive thing they could possibly say. Because the truth is, all of these, because there are a lot of attacks on Asians going on right now, but they're all from black people. All of the attacks, every single one of them, except for one that I could find, and that was by like a person with a mental problem, I think, a white guy with a mental problem. But almost all the other attacks have the bullying and the harassment, especially like the attacks on old people, old Asian people. It's all black people. It's all black people. And in fact, there's articles been written, which we covered on the show, I think, about how the Asian community is becoming racist against black people because of all these attacks. And the article was like, but Asians shouldn't be racist against black people. We should get along, Asians and black people. But it's like, if there's one particular group that keeps attacking everybody from your group, yeah, naturally, some of the people are going to get pissed off, and they're going to become a little bit antagonistic toward the people from, the group that's attacking them. So, I mean, that article was just ridiculous, first of all. But the article sort of incidentally acknowledges that, yeah, all these attacks are happening from black people, black men specifically. But, like, the Democrats will not acknowledge this. They keep wanting to shift the blame to Trump supporters and like white racists, white supremacists, people like that. This just isn't happening. White people just aren't going around hurting Asians because of the coronavirus thing, because of Donald Trump or whatever it is that they've invented. But because this guy went out and he shot some people, some of them were Asian women, right? This fit the narrative perfectly for them. Unfortunately for the Democrats, it's not true. Their invented narrative is not supported by this guy's shooting. This guy's shooting is indeed a tragedy. It's terrible, and we should look at it for what it is and exactly what happened with this guy, right? We should probably try to stop, these situations where we have these illegal brothels popping up here and there, and maybe the police should target those and try to stop that from happening so that they, guys like him don't get into this situation. Guys, I don't know what his, maybe he has some kind of a, obviously there's something wrong
Why
with
they
him.
didn't ask him who did he vote in 20?
I'm I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. But it's totally irrelevant.
But they still didn't say like, oh, it is a Trump supporter. Did they say that?
So you think maybe he's a Democrat because they didn't say he's a Trump supporter? Look, the truth is it's irrelevant. I don't mind that they're not covering that, but you're right. If he is a Democrat, then that would kind of hurt them as well. But it's so messed up that they have to politicize everything. They have to try to exploit every single tragedy that ever happens for political gain. The Democrats are twisted people. I'm telling you, it is messed up. Those people need to get
I'm
voted out
surprised
of
Kamala
office.
Harris didn't say, "Oh, I feel so terrible, it's so bad because I'm also Asian." Because she claimed it in the past, right?
No. Well, she is.
She did.
She
She's
is Asian.
She's a quarter Asian, quarter of everything.
Well,
so.
she's Asian if you will say that Indians are Asian, right? So like
Indian, Asian, African American.
well, but in India, if you're from India, right, that's in the continent of Asia, and if you're from the UK, they actually call people from India Asian. I don't know what they call Japanese people. Maybe Oriental. I think they just call everybody that looks East Asian like.
I remember articles even way before she said like half black or quarter black.
If she's from India, then she's her family's from the continent of Asia,
Okay.
so that's technically correct. But she's not Asian like Chinese. She's not Chinese. She's not Chinese. But anyway,
Can I claim that I'm Asian because Russia have like half European,
Sure.
half Asian continent?
sure,
Can I?
yeah,
I know I was born in the European part. I would live there, but it's Russia.
that's right.
You know?
Russia crosses. You're just Russia's very multicultural. It's half European, half Asian.
Yes. See?
All right, I think we're done with the stories. Are we done with the stories? Is that the last one?
We are done.
All right, we can move on to the Q&A if you guys have any questions or comments. If we don't have any questions or comments, I'll tell you the story that I was going to tell you at the beginning of the show that Valeria is going to love hearing.
No.
We've got 8 minutes. Yeah,
I don't like when I don't know what you're
No,
gonna
you
say
like this story.
about me.
This is a funny story about how Valeria is as a wife. And actually, this is back before we got married. So this is more as she's a girl. Well, one of the stories is before we got married, and one of the stories is after we got married.
Okay.
So we, so Valeria likes to make like practical jokes, kind of. It's a weird thing. So like, we're dating, we're a couple, we've been together for some time, and we're walking around Santa Monica, and you remember this? You know what I'm going to say? Okay. So we get to this street corner, and there's a couple at the street corner, like another couple, and they're kind of cozying up to each other, and they're like obviously like dating. So Valeria kind of comes up to me and cozies up to me. So I like give her a kiss on the head or something like that. And as I kiss her on the head, she backs off from me with like this weird look, like what the hell's going on? And I'm like, what? And she goes, and the couple notice something's going on, so they turn around. And she goes, you guys might want to watch out. There's this guy here that's going around kissing people randomly or something like that. I don't remember exactly what you said, but it was horrible. It was horrible. I was just thinking, oh man, these couple now thinks I'm some kind of maniac, and I just start laughing. Naturally I start laughing, and this couple is looking at me, and they're looking at her, and they're looking at me, and they clearly don't know if she was joking or if I'm really a maniac, and that confusion just made it all the funnier, and I just could not stop laughing. And then a while later, I don't know, it's a few months later. I don't know if you guys have, the Alexa thing. Alexa, never mind. Anyway, but oh no, it was Siri. It was Siri. So I was talking to Siri on my iPhone, and she was like, she wasn't doing what I was telling her to do, which I'm sure you all had that frustration. And I yell at her. I was with my roommate, this girl Victoria, and Valeria was in the other room. And I yell at Siri, just kind of jokingly. I'm like, do what I tell you, bitch, or something like that, right? Just being kind of stupid.
Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.